perspective.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, Garfield. And looking at my presentation, it's really a summary of things that we talked about, but from a different perspective. So we looked at it from, Simon talked about some of the ways that we can deploy the car from a technical perspective at a high level. We talked about what happened in Canada. We also talked about, the business case that you build on fraud. But my presentation really looks at it more from a cardholder perspective and what the cardholder experience is and what that kind of can mean to the issuer. And also probes that I think we're leaving something out in the business case for EMV. Some of this will be redundant because we didn't actually share all of our presentations, but I'll go through it as quickly as possible. So one fact that isn't contested is EMV is actually growing. We've seen solid growth in 2007, 2008. I haven't seen the 2009 growth numbers. And what that means is you're actually seeing this acceptance, the whole technology migration, what they call it the map. It's something that we've been starting to track. And what you see is EMV deployed. You see EMV that's going to be deployed or in the process of being deployed over the next 24 months. And you can see the majority of the world is included except for sub-Saharan Africa. We also have Borneo and the United States. We're in good company. And the interesting thing, there's an interesting thing going on in sub-Saharan Africa because that's really an infrastructure issue of being, a landline deployed online payment structure that we have in the United States. What you're seeing in like sub-Saharan Africa is the mobile systems actually being used for commerce. And it's actually starting, so they're going mobile and they're actually jumping past some of the landline solutions. Now, is it ubiquitous yet? No, but it's an interesting trend to track. And once again, both of our neighbors on the north and to the south of us have deployed EMV. And by the end of 2011, it is going to be the ubiquitous technology accepted. And an interesting thing that we also saw is, specifically in Canada, some of the issues decided. Well, you can see my presentation much better. Some of the issuers in Canada decided to go directly to a full dual interface DDA implementation, and they took that with the rationale of, if I'm going to go to chip and pin, I might as well just do one profile development, and I'll be covered as the technology rolls out. I'll be covered for online transactions, offline transactions, and also contactless transactions from a convenience standpoint. So what I really wanted to focus on is overseas and the travel card. There's been a lot of media talk about the travel card. Thank you very much. Give someone a hand, whoever fixed that problem. But it's really an interesting phenomenon because if you look at it from an issuer's perspective, it's impacting their best customers. If you look at it, they're usually people with means, people that travel internationally frequently, and normally have a quite high spend rate on that particular card. And what the acceptance issue, and the acceptance issue in like the major hotels, and you see the major cities, is not really the issue. Where you start seeing it is in smaller shops. You see it also in kiosks and in transit, to be honest with you. So it kind of ties in. Many of the kiosks where you get the convenience, and I can speak to this personally, when you fly into, because Gemalto is based in Paris, and I get to visit Paris quite frequently, and I have to stand in the queue to buy my pass for the train, which normally takes 45 minutes plus, depending on what day I get there, as opposed to walk up to a kiosk and use a chip-based card and probably done with that transaction in probably 5 minutes or less. So what we're actually seeing is the offline transactions are causing a problem statement to frequent travelers to Europe. It's also an education issue, and one of the things that we see in some of the small merchants, because of some of the risk shift and other things, is the merchants will not want to use the mag stripe.